Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing? And how is your Tobaski preparation? I mean, we are left with a day or two to go before we welcome the big day. That's Tobaski. And we are wishing each and every person a happy Tobaski in advance. May we witness many more Tobaskis to come, and make sure you enjoy your Tobaski, you know, without enjoying it in such a way, you know, sometimes you enjoy them upper.
Bemulor la.
Yete jalo yi sereri jola def len danka rek Tobaski legi mu roba. Yeah, so Julde Njai, how are you?
I am fine. I'm okay. Alhamdulillah. Good morning to you. Good morning to our viewers, and good morning to our newspaper review guest.
Set mati xam nga dama waxoon Julde ma ne ko ne Mrs Sabali la waaye balaa maa ne Njaay Sabali dañ ma war a jox takku dina waaye ba léegi joxaaguñ ma ko de suma brother in law bu nekkee mu ngi seetaan
dafa bëgg lu duuf moo tax mu ne bii moom
bés bu mu accès
na ma xaar rek ba ma ñëwaat
non bés bu moo ñëw sax man airport laa ko xaar balaa moo dem di joxe yëpp man airport
pour se takku dina rek
airport man maa ko dem xaar. So Seth Mati, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a while. Where have you been?
Yeah, I've been around, mostly last time I was here, but I was saying that I was in the field. You know, sometimes as researchers, you just disappear and you get to the field, do your research. This time we were doing research on deportation. I have a colleague from Norway that was here, and then immediately after that, I left for China to attend the China-Africa Think Tank Forum. But I'm back now. Yeah, so sometimes I disappear because I'm in the field. Yes.
All right, it's good that you mentioned China. It is important for us to talk about how China is taking over when it comes to technology, when it comes to innovation. You can see now all attention on China. I mean, the people that visited China, I mean, we had interactions, and they keep telling me the amazing innovation and technologies in China.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, I think, yes, technology is there and all that, but I'm, you know, very far away from that. I'm more interested in the issue of housing, how they're providing housing to the people, but also how their modernization approach is also being linked to, you know, to that tradition, to their development and all those different stuff. But also the most important part is also integrating technology into those different issues. You know, for us as academics, we're somehow very boring when it comes to all this different stuff. But, you know, some of the lessons that we pick were very critical. Of course, the amount of cars that you see there, you know, new with, you know, electric cars and all those things. Of course, China is doing a lot. It's doing a lot in terms of their advancement. And those are things, they are quite good lessons that we could learn, especially on their poverty eradication strategy. For me, those are the most important lessons that I can pick from such engagements, basically. How do we, you know, not to copy them, but how do we learn the lessons and how they did it, but also to use our own local context, our own local realities to also move forward.
Because a few years back, when you look at the history of China, I mean, you can see how they were also struggling. And
of course.
From and where they are now. I mean, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, because we meet quite a lot of our colleagues from the academia. They tell us, like, you know, when we were growing up, we were very poor. But today, you know, they feel like they've transformed. You talk about millions of people that were in poverty. Now you're talking about, of course, still poverty exists, but of course, they've been able to remove a lot of people, millions, out of poverty. For us, we are talking about thousands. And how do we lift those thousands from poverty to, you know,
hundreds.
Yeah, so those are things that those are the lessons that I feel. And you see people tell you, like, we were poor when we were growing up, and now, you know, they feel they're not. Their families are not anymore. So that's progress. And that progress needs to be recognized as well.
Right.
Yes.
So let us look at the headlines that we have here. We have the Standard, Fourier, and Point. On the Standard newspaper, Assembly rejects SIS's request to observe Russian oil inquiry. It's a lot about this oil.
Yeah, I think it's you know, it's an interesting one, and I think there's been a committee.
Oh, director is talking about the African program.
Yes.
Oh, our African proverb. We skipped that.
Proverb already. So let's
Okay.
deal with the proverb.
The proverb.
And then we move to the...
So the proverb says a coin in cash is better than 10 on credit. A coin in cash is better than 10 on credit. Absolutely, no doubt about that.
It's similar to the saying that a bird in hand is
Exactly, that's what I
mean
mean.
in the bush and all that stuff. So it's what you have now, you know, is at least it's yours. But when you take things on credit and all those different stuff, I mean, it's also about making best use of what you have today, you know, and that's how I see it. Yeah.
It is an interesting.
I'm not how much
Ghana.
Yeah, so that
I'm not Ghana. Yes.
Exactly. Well, it's telling you make good use of what you have today.
Yes.
It's better than just expecting something that didn't come.
Yeah.
So it's better to make good use of it. You don't have to spend it lavishly. You have to know how to go about it. You don't know whether there will be tomorrow. So,
exactly.
I mean, I think that's what the proverb is talking about, Julde. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same interpretation across the board. For me, is a slightly different example that I would want to give. For example, you want to achieve so much as a young person, but for me, it's making the best use of the current opportunities that are really available for you at the time to be able to get something bigger or to get to your final destination. But oftentimes we overlook some of these opportunities and not knowing that it is a ladder that we have to climb.
Exactly.
You know, you have to really get to something small before you actually get to something big. But this Gen Z generation, we are always in haste.
To make it.
We always want to hit the jackpot and not knowing that hitting the jackpot really comes with a lot of things. You know, making the best use of the small opportunities that are readily available for you and leveraging on them.
Yeah, because sometimes people, you know, compare their lives with other people.
Right.
And for me, that's the most crazy part, because like everyone, you're on your own path, you're on your own road, and sometimes you have to make best use of it. Especially for the younger generation, sometimes we talk about entitlement. You know, like today, not accepting the context that Gambia is a country, is a context, it has its own challenges, but you want to overnight, you want Gambia to be like America or like China, you know, people that have struggled to be where they are, and you have to go through that same struggle, same journey, or similar journey to be able to be where you are. But it cannot be just wake up and everything is, you know, is flowery or glittering gold, as they say. So it has to be effort, work, you know, so that you can climb. Yeah,
I mean, some people believe there is a shortcut to success. I mean, you know, and which for me, I don't believe. I mean, you can see how people will tell you, okay, if you know what we've gone through to make it in life, I mean, to get to this stage, you will definitely not understand. You know, sometimes you can see how wealthy people are. Sometimes you can see how people are doing good. You think, I mean, it just came overnight, but totally different. And, you know, Julde mentioned something very important. The generation today, we tend to be in haste to make it. And at the same time, we tend to overlook certain things. You know, $10 bu ñëw, $5 bu ñëw, dama ko xeeb.
You want the thousands.
Why small boat mu ngi ci ko xamne mu ngi make 500,000, 1 million. Understand? You don't know little bobu nonu mo dey indi affaire. You know, it's crazy.
It is.
No, it has to be like people have to, you know, like you're not in control of your life. And tomorrow you can just leave, but at the end of the day, like it says, a coin that you have is what you need to use to multiply it, duplicate it, you know, and it takes time. It cannot be just like today you invest and then tomorrow you reap the benefit. Even the people that you talk about, successful people, I don't see what successful people are, because they still continue to work. You know, there is like they work every day, you know, because it has to be built. It has to be built. Lives are different, but that's the mentality that people need to have. And that's
it. What gis nañ fi nit yoo xam ne creating nen lañ doon jaay. You know, creating nen si puus lañ ko def ñu taxaw ñu jaay, waaye tey they are bringing containers of nen yoo xam ne they are importing it in this
process.
Wow.
Process ba pare like loo jaay bu ko xeeb. You know, loo jaay bu ko xeeb. If you eat something, save something. You know, because that mentality
system bi du tax nga save something because I mean saving.
Saving is a culture boo xam ne ñu dañ ko war a jàng. You don't need the system because at some point it has to be at your own individual level. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult, especially when you live within an extended family, like you know. But that should not prevent you from doing those things. You know, you have to, because at some point you need to start a family. You have to all those things. You have to learn that, and then you teach your kids at a very early age. You know how to do those kind of stuff. I think is very important because otherwise, you know, it's like hand to mouth, and the idea of hand to mouth is like, you know,
hand to mouth. For garau.
Yeah.
For garau.
And we honestly, we touch on a very important topic, especially now that the Tobaski is approaching, and you see people like they will take out all their life savings just for one day and then get the pleasure, and that's
tomorrow
it.
They start
you know,
again.
it's gone, and then tomorrow they start all over again. So I think for me, it's the mindset that we have, and it's really a problem. Like, cut your coat according to your size, and I think that is very, very important. If you are not there yet, you know, where you are, make the best use of the situation, the current situation.
Create your own happiness.
Create your own happiness. You can't be really, but I think the problem is, okay, Balde has something, he's wearing fancy clothes, he's in a very nice car, okay, I have to do it. But you hamulon that Balde, the car that he is even driving, hamulo whether dañ ko may, whether daf ko leb, you don't know how that person got that thing. Why you lo am nga xeeb ko, fekk yo hamulo lolu lebulo, ñaaniwulo, ken xeebut la si. You know, it is from your own sweat, which I think people should really take pride in. Not just focusing on what the next person has, because all that glitters, it's not gold.
Exactly. Lulu more real independence. You know, independence, when we talk about national independence, for to trickle down to the individual. You know, like how doylu, you know, the idea of doylu, dafa critical for, you know, for everybody, because at some point we're going to leave it here. So people need to know that in the first place. But you doylu, then you work your plans according. You know, bumbu sew te guda, mogen bumbu gata te doof. You know, like let it be small, but let it be long, and all those different stuff. So you have to have that kind of thinking that you don't need to be in a haste, you don't need to rush things, but you have to do things based on your own means. And that's what, for me, I think this very proverb is also talking about. I mean, it's a lot of lessons that we can learn from it, and because we see the everyday experiences that we have within our society.
Exactly.
And that's why we see sometimes people risking their lives to things that do not worth it. And if they reflect, they realize that they could have done it differently and even better.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it's very interesting.
It is. I mean, this is even a newspaper review of its own, because the topic moment and doing communal exercise, but
so
it's important.
You were talking about the oil thing.
Yes,
so
right.
Let's go ahead with it.
Yeah, the headline on the Standard. And even talking of oil, recently, former President Yahya Jammeh made a bold, should I say, scary statement that Gambia has oiled, and, you know, all Senegal, Gambia, and all the things that, you know, happen as far as our oil is concerned. It's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy, it's not crazy. Is you know, I remember when we were in junior school or so, we watched Jammeh on TV talking about holding a CD and say Gambia has oil, you know.
I remember that
stuff. But for me, I mean, I listen to oil experts, you know, people that work on the industry. For these things are too technical. Sometimes, you know, Gambians, you know, necessary in most cases. Yeah, there's a possibility. Most people say that there's a possibility, and I think even under him, he's been here for 22 years. We're going to oil, you know, and they have evidence. Of course, there's a possibility in but it has not been explored. So look, and it doesn't make sense. Like, people need to sometimes to think from that. But of course, I think also what is necessary more in a government has to start explaining to people, helping people to understand that. Of course, Guinea-Bissau has swing basin, so they need to be more open and transparent about these processes to help people to understand what it is before, you know, our expectation gets so high And of course, as a former president, when he speaks, sometimes people will say, okay, he was there, he understands that. But when did all these things that he's saying today, when did it start? Is it under him or when? But it's also like a politics. And for me, I don't pay attention to that. I pay attention to the experts. People that I trust that understand the terrain and all that. You can be president, you can have the information, but you don't know the science of all this different stuff. So for me, that's the issue. But the government needs to be helping people. And sometimes you don't just wait for these issues to come up and then be rumors and then you start addressing that. But it has to be something, constant education. Constant education for the population will help prevent some of these you know, issues.
It's important. I mean, transparency is very
it's clear,
key. And, you know, as a result, when this really, Jammeh made this statement, a lot of people were like, okay, making a lot of allegations. Maybe that is the reason why, you know, the current president of Senegal came in here and the prime minister as well. And, you know, they're making a lot of serious allegations. To really avert that, I think the government needs to really communicate to the people more often on some of these critical issues, because I think it's very much important. If, you know, Jammeh's claims is anything to go by, then really that is really serious. But we can't really conclude anything because we don't know the motive behind that. Like you mentioned, he was here for 22 years. Like, if he can really, under his leadership, know that Gambia has oil or make the best use of that, you know, I don't see any reason why he should really come
I mean, for me, even, it's like, is there already a well where people are just going to raw, you know, like, sometimes we need to, as much as government need to be transparent also, we people, we have to go with our senses.
To use our brains.
Yeah, we used to our brains and, you know, think about certain things that are logical. Because even for me, I think based on the little research on natural resources, I used to teach a course at the UTG, Natural Resource Governance. How you know, even for oil to come, it might take some years. Senegal, when they discovered, was long time, but it took some years. It's only last year they started exploring. So it will have to be like similar for us. Otherwise, you know, maybe then gas pass it on gauge vitamin, you know, start the roaches on boss. Like, there are so many things you have.
I'm on a time.
We don't need to waste our time thinking about that.
So even car power, boom tahawe si gauge bi, am na ñu ne gal bi, oil bi la nekk di gas. Understand? So all those things are too, I mean, I think dafa cheap trop pour nit mun ko
constant education and engagement I think will help about most of these things. But most of this conversation time is mostly on social media, and these are places where you expect that these are somehow people that can read and write, you know, that are there. But they are the very ones that are making this, oh, it could be true, it could be true, you know, spreading rumors. That's not the way to move a country. These issues of oil and all those things. And which country will allow other countries to take their oil just like that? For what purpose?
I don't know.
You know, so like, I mean, no matter how much you hate your country, sometimes you need to think about it that way. Like, nobody will just sit there and, you know, and even if this was happening, what is hidden in this country? Anything that happens, we know. So it's a small country also. Those things are very present. I think Jammeh missed this country, and so he needs to...
Yeah, he definitely missed here. Okay, let's take a look at my party is NPP Grand Alliance Coordinator.
That's a good, big position. And I think right now is a political season already. Even though the campaign, we haven't seen the electoral calendar yet, but I think politicians are gearing up. And of course, NPPs and the Grand Alliance, they're showing that they're not waiting. They're putting their house in order. And of course, appointing a coordinator, given that they are different. I think within the NPP coalition, you have DP is a Democratic Party. I think there's a new member, GMC, APRC, NRP.
So it's like CF already joined the NPP now.
No, they've been part of the coalition. I mean, they've been part of the coalition. So they're part of the coalition. So I think it's also important, you know, for such kind of coalition to be coordinated in a way that people will not feel like they've been left behind. I think that's perhaps the agenda and or the reason for why May has been appointed as coordinator. So it's a political, the political train is rolling right now, I guess.
It is. So another headline is health officials say 34% of deaths caused by non-communicable diseases amid high tobacco use. 34%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it means smoking is killing as well, and yeah, that's a serious public health issue that needs to be definitely looked into.
Absolutely. To my surprise is that we have all these laws in the country, but again, implementation of it is a problem. And you know, every month or every week you hear that they validated this, they validated that. You know, they're coming up with new laws, new policies, new regulatory frameworks, but it seems not to be working.
Yeah, it's a major problem. How do you translate these laws and policies into real action? Is usually a problem. And a small country like us, where almost everybody knows each other, sometimes we focus more on the social relationship and all those things. And then, you know, sometimes people think that, okay, if you implement the law, you're going to implement it on your own people. But we shouldn't be thinking that way. The law that we set up is for all of us. And it should be something that needs to be implemented if we want to change. Because sometimes societies can be moving. And what laws are for is basically to help regulate certain behavior. Laws are supposed to help regulate certain behaviors, but if those things are there and people still continue to behave the same way, then that is leading to chaos. And sometimes those are issues that we need to put into perspective and say, well, we have to do it. And sometimes we start it from ourselves. But here is also there is also this discussion, okay, what happens to Julde will not happen to Balde because of this and that and that. But those are things that we need to move away from. But most importantly for me, I also feel that there's a huge gap in terms of translating policies and laws into real actions. Those things need to be.
So study shows double shift schooling affects learning in Gambia.
That's a very interesting study.
Very interesting, because I mean, it's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe perhaps that's the because double shift, you talk about kids from going morning and also afternoon, because sometimes also you have a limitation. Sometimes it's one teacher that teaches, so mostly the afternoon sessions are mostly affected, because in the morning most learning can take place in the morning. By the afternoon the sun is very hot, so that could be a problem. But I'm interested in reading the study because it's very important, and we need to take it seriously to look at it and see how best we can remedy that. But of course, with the population of kids coming up now going to school, we also need to look at whether we need to create more schools, we need to build more classrooms, need to train more teachers, and to ensure that, you know, we look at it, we look into the issue rather than just putting it aside, because such studies are very informative and they need to be taken seriously.
Absolutely. Just yesterday, Child Fund and other NGOs were here talking about the out-of-school dropouts in the Gambia. I think it's around 61,000 plus kids who are out of school in the Gambia currently. And that is really a huge number. You know, the reason for that is because of poverty, early marriage, access to schools. Some of the schools are very far from some of these kids, and they can't really go that far. So I think it's important, you know, it's not just building classrooms, but also prioritizing some of these things. In urban area, do we still need to build more schools? I think there are many schools in the, you know, open in Greater Banjul than rural Gambia. So I think the priority should be that. But again, infrastructure should go in line with also qualified teachers. You can't really have the infrastructure and you don't have teachers to really teach some of these kids. And I think in rural Gambia, that is some of the challenges that people are seeing. We have schools, but those schools are understaffed. And that is really a problem.
Yeah, they're understaffed, but also the investments, because sometimes, you know, we're talking about 61,000 kids.
Plus,
and just imagine in the, like in 5, 10, 18 years, 20 years, you know, what is this group of kids going to be if they don't have the opportunity, or if they're not reintegrated back into the school system? It's going to be a lot of challenges for the society, and this particular group likely going to be in the same cycle of poverty. You know, come from poverty, return to poverty, and that cycle continues. So there's a lot of, for me, you know, I feel like every kid, no matter what it is, they have to be in school. You know, when kids are in school, it prevents quite a lot of things. It prevents a lot of things. And that has to be that. And we need to know, like, even data that we gather here, the DHS shows that you know, if you look at the data, you see that lives of kids begin to be drilled when they are at 10 years and all those things. So there's evidence that you need to look at how do you prepare kids before they reach the age of 10. Those are important elements that we also need to factor. There is a quite good science that exists that we have to integrate into our policies to ensure that we, you know, we do the right thing.
Right.
Exactly. I mean,
So on Foroya,
the Fourier newspaper.
IDA approves $52.6 million grant to boost Gambia's transport and energy infrastructure.
Yeah, that's free money from the World Bank. I think that's good. It shows also that there are quite good investments that have been done, especially in terms of the infrastructure, which I think sometimes these fundings are also there to support, you know, make those improvements.
Right.
And I had like, I think government wants to expand the route from Airport Junction all the way to Block as a dual carriage route, which is pretty good, because there also there's quite a lot of traffic now. And those are the kind of investments that are also needed to certain extent. So, but this is free money, and I hope that it will be well utilized to ensure that it gets to the everyday Gambian.
Absolutely. So we still have another headline on the Foroya newspaper. BCC pressed to recover over $2.5 million lost in EU Crab Island renovation contract.
That's interesting.
This country.
I
A
mean,
lot of issues.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, we just have to focus and then, you know, ensure monies that are meant for projects, monies that are meant for certain things are spent on that. And, you know, otherwise we'll continue to be experiencing this. But it also speaks to the broader discussion around transparency and corruption, but also accountability. So I think these are all the issues that need to be. But not to forget that when we are investing in our own people. We are investing in our own population, and you know, one person misusing the money, it affects a whole generation. And those are things that we need to fight tooth and nail.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, corruption for me, I think it affects each and every one of us, and it affects generations to come. And I think it should not be tolerated. But I think that, you know, to some extent, the abnormal is really normalized, which I think it's really scary. For the fact that, okay, my brother or my sister is in this particular position, I can just
do anything I want and get away with it,
with that, and then I can just get away with that. And I think that is really scary.
Yeah, in a normal society, you know, you start the punishment from your own family, you know, making sure that, you know, what is right has to be there. And but we tolerate those kind of stuff, and we're growing up, generations see those things, and the minute you want to start implementing that, then people say, why now? You know, all those different stuff.
I've been here for so many years.
Yeah, I've been here so many years. They're targeting me because I am this, I am that. I mean, so at some point, we just have to, the right is the right. You have to close your eyes and then do what is right, and then move. And for me, at some point, it has to be like a personal battle. It has to start from all of us, you know, because sometimes when we talk about corruption, we only talk about it from monetary aspect, but our own, the way we behave in society, the way we engage in our own. Even me, sometimes I feel like I'm corrupted in a way that is supposed not to be. But of course, at some point, you know, these are individual battles that we also have to fight to ensure that it doesn't spread, it doesn't you know, move out. So those are things that we need to do. But it's a serious society. It's a serious issue, and our society is like you said. I always argue that, you know, we always normalize the abnormal, and it becomes normal. It becomes part of the culture, and even at some point they say,
they keep telling you, kii defoon na ko fii te dara
jaru ko wala soo téye kooku sax ñu ne la léegi lu tax kii rek, you know. But like it's a whole country where everybody has a problem, but you know, nobody wants it to be solved.
Exactly.
But if it is not you, not my friend, not everybody, you want it to be to happen. But if it is my friend, you say, okay, why him?
Selective justice.
You know, selective justice ain't good. Well, like sometimes I say it has to start somewhere, but if it shouldn't just start somewhere and stop there. It has to be like a country. But hopefully, with the coming of the Anti-Corruption Commission, I mean, it can help. But of course, we have a lot of work in this country. I mean, as much as things are happening, there's a lot of things that we need to work on.
A lot of things to fix, man. Yeah, so I think we've exhausted that time.
Yeah.
Seth Mati, thank you for reviewing the papers with us. And, you know, we wish you a happy Tobaski in advance.
Same to you. Wish everybody happy Tobaski and small celebration. You know.
Jël bu njëkk nañu.
Jël bu njëkk.
Jël bu njëkk nañu. No, di nga am salibo. QT foog ñu jox la salibo. You know. All right, viewers, thank you very much. We'll take a short break. After the break, then the program continues. We'll be back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Oryx Gas, the energy that brings us together.
Powered by Africa, Oryx Energies.
It's Tobaski time. Whether you are sending from the Gambia to UK, USA, Europe, or the other way round, Red Coat Express has you covered. We are the Gambia's trusted air freight and shipment experts. Fast, reliable, and affordable. If you're sending from the Gambia to UK, $2,125 for the first kilo, just $400 for each extra kilo. UK to the Gambia, £6 per kilo, drop-off included, £7 per kilo, collection 10 kilograms. From pickup and packaging to customer delivery, we handle it all. Stress-free, whether you choose our air freight for speed or shipment for bigger loads, Red Coat Express has you covered. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 3077776 on Kairaba Avenue or 5322-2900 at the airport. Or you can contact our international number on +447 353 133 808. Red Coat Express, flying your Tobaski joy across borders.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Soro. Go, ebe dawa full network suuta tili. QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata. QCell. Most reliable network jumala keta wati. QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wuloni farole kono walante be bakono jala fayola network o se taria. QCell suñu boss. Ñu fi njëkka indi 3G ñu dellu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meta lori la kiliano liele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. Connection be bambandi QCell sunyu boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunyu boss.
Thank you very much. We're back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. I am with Julden Jai. And now we move to the third segment of this program. We have the Q City team here. As you know, they are preparing for a special Tobaski, which will be a lot of entertainment because Q City is the place to be. you know, for you to get what you want when it comes to entertainment. And we have Nene Wuri, the manager of Q City, and of course we have our Sohna admin and operations. So we, ladies, welcome to QTV this morning. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Ibrahima, and then Julde. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. It's important pour ñu waxtaan ak yéen Tobaski bi lan la Q City nar.
Ok jërëjëf comme ni ñu ko waxee man la Nena Wuri maa ngi jógee Q City. tey nag suñu tànka fii nii mooy pour ñu ñëw waxtaan ak yéen ñu wax leen Q City lan lañ amal. parce que Q City dafa nekk place boo xam ne dañ ko fi andi wala dañ ko créer pour make sure ne family ak xale yi especially ñu am place boo xam ne foofu la ñoo demee ñu kontaan ñu fooye fa am fa all the activities that they need balaa ñuy nekk si biti di tamambaalu so every year Q City dañ dee def ak Tobaski special daf ne nekk sa Tobaski ak Korité daf nañ ko Korité neexoon na ori gars yi ñu ne defoon nañ ko daaw fekkee déwén dañuy baaxantal so dañoo just baaxantal di ko defaat the programme dañ ko dooree second day Tobaski parce que xam nañ ne first day bi ñu bari dañoo nekk di dem siyaare mbokk yi di def so many other activities so moo tax ñu ne xaaral ñu bàyyi so second day bi si suba si dooree ko 12 si suba ba 7 dañoo ubbi suñ buntay pour xale yi dugga si gars yi ñëw there's a lot of fun games nañ fa am competitions nañ fa am so many activities boo xam ne dina keep xale yi together gars yi mun a fo mun a enjoy seen bopp mun a enjoy seen fête balaa gaa ni nekk si mbedda bi so immediately after boobu noonu we also have a program with Absolute Entertainment mooy ñoom Hadi Faye they also bring in a special Tobaski ndewenal muy programme yi VJ bi so VJ bi moom mooy nekk after xale seen programme so xale bu ñu jeexalee 7 then Hadi Faye mun a ñëw ak teamam bi gaa yi continuer seen VJ programme bi loolu lañ nekk di work on right now so the third day parce que usually dañ dee am programme ak Hussein we have a partnership deal with Hussein Dada mooy the Gambia's baddest and finest so Hussein Dada dañ dee ama moom usually second day la dee nekk waaye because of the VJ event moo tax ñu shift ko waaw dafa nekk third day waaw so léegi instead of ngeen a am Hussein Dada bi on second day bi yoon ñun lañ ko andil third day parce que julli bi dafa tombé weekend so we can still have activities ba pare du affect suñ school
exactly
school calendar bi so moo tax ñu ne hence julli bi ngeen nekk Friday Saturday Sunday mun nañoo am activities yoo xam ne dina keep xale together so boobu mooy nekk di third day with Hussein Dada so da ngaa gis ne third day bi ñu ngi koo dooree programme bi ngeen door from 12 midday Hussein Dada dina fa nekk xale ben 9 si guddi so loolu noonu nag lañ bëggoon pour kilifa yëpp ñëpp koo xam ne yaa ñoo déglu ngeen andi seen njaboot bi andi ko foofu noonu then Hussein Dada tamit na fa nekk with other Gambian artists so I think it's best pour ñëpp andi foofu noonu seen xale mag ak ndaw even dañoo wane xale sax waaye mag yi ñoom ñoo ko gën a mën a enjoy sax so that is what we're planning to do this Tobaski
so dafa am solo torop nga am Tobaski dem xale yi ñu am foo xam ne daal is secure because man dama feel ne xale yi ba si Tobaski a lot of cases of xale yi ñuy réel daf dee bëri so waaye nga am place boo xam ne daal dafa rëy dafa convenient dafa nice pour xale yi mun a dem enjoy seen bopp I think it's the best place to be so in terms of food bi because ay xale lañ and all of that naka la lekka bi di mel because dañ fa nekka depuis suba ba 7 and a lot of activities fa dee nekka so different foods yu available for that day ak tamit ñaatal la ñoo fay suñ buggee dugga si Q City awa
ok Q City moom lekka du problème lekka yi neex nañ yomba nañ te dafa bari programme Hussein bi ticket bi 200 rek la $200 rek.
Like a giveaway price.
Yeah. loolu I guess ne ñëpp mën nañ ko mën a afford. ba pare Q City dafa nekk place boo xam ne dafa secure. di moment nga indi sa xale bi bul am ñaari xel. security ñu ngi fa ñun suñ boppa dañ fa dee nekk. duñ dee dem bàyyi fa xale yi. waaw.
So just to add on what Awa was saying. When it comes to food lekka comme niñ ko waxee parce que xam naa ne puli moom fu mu nekk nii loolu rek la ñoo laajtee joolaa yi séeréer yi
maa ngi xalaat sax su ma ñëwee ndax lekka bi dina mun a doy
fu mu nekk nii ñu ngi am a new chef with his team ñoo xam ne they are fully prepared fu mu nekk nii maa leen fa bàyyi sa they are prepping pour make sure ne we have enough food boo xam ne dinañ ko mën a jaay so lekka du nekk problème we have a special menu boo xam ne moom lañ nekk di génnee for that day and it's as reasonable as possible parce que xam ne ne ay xale lañ nekk suñ target market bi xale la so we have to make it as reasonable as possible ba xale bu ñëw bu fekkee ne sa yaa ngi amee 75 wala 50 dollars di nga mun a jënd dara nga lekka so we gonna make so many lot of foods yoo xam ne pour xale yi la moo nekk ay drink ay popcorn face painting tamit dina fa nekk waaye boobu noonu face painting bi is for free for them waaw face painting bi is for free so dinañ fa am ay candy cutting dinañ fa am ay slush dinañ fa am so many other things yoo xam ne xale yi dinañ ko mën a jënda ice cream ice wonderland tamit mu fa so pour lekka moom du problème xanaa xale yi wax ne fu mu nekk nii ñu ñoo doyal suut nañ léegi mënatu ñoo lekka waaye when it comes to food we have the volume and then anything loo xam ne nañuy request nañ ko we always available pour mun nañ koo defaralal so as for the ticket comme ni ko Awa waxee second day bi mooy bu xale yi di njëkk a ñëw balaa VJ bi it's just $200 VJ bi moom boobu noonu it's not entirely Q-City boobu noonu absolute glam la ordinary it's $500 VIP it's $1,000 waaw so da nga gis ne the third day mooy suñu programme bay Hussein Dada comme ni ko Awa waxee it's just $200 buggu ñoo def anything loo xam ne dafa cher benn ñu duñ ko mën a afford sagam xale lañ nekk di ut su dañ bugg a affaire si chip boo xam ne xale bu si am benn sali bu sax dina mën a ñëw fay ticket boo dugga si te ticket bi nekku ne boo ko dugga si rek boo dugga si rek da ngaa ñëw toog benn place lifin we have so many activities apart from fun games ñoo am the playground is open the swimming pool is also open so these are so many activities
suma boy bi boobu mooy favorite
yaa ngi gis
wan ko yaa ngi gis Q-City moom foog mu dugga si pool
foog mu dugga mu swim so loolu la so mun nañoo nekk foofu noonu ñu pare dinañ taal tamit suñ cinéma bi waaw pour xale yu bëgg a dem seetaan movie tamit gars yi egg si ko ñu dem seetaan
that's a lot
so what we're trying to do basically mooy su make sure ne ñu lokk xale yi benn place parce que bëgg ñoo gis xale yi ñuy tamambaalu di wërantu da nga gis xale yu bari after Tobaski bi dañoo nekk di réer unnecessarily so loolu moo tax Q-City ñu ne xaaral ñu ut activité boo xam ne dina mën a andi xale yi together gaa yi mën a fo gaa yi mën a create that bond après dinañ si mën a jàngee tamit
dëgg la dañ bëggoon ngeen wax ñu time bi it's important pour ñu xam time bi programme si
ok programme bi mu ngi start 12 midday
second day bi
mu ngi start 12 midday si la ñoo ubbi buntay pour xale yi ba 7 o'clock then si la programme boobu noonu di end ñu mën a may Hadi Faye moo tamit mu ñëw def programme VJ yam bi which will start at 8 so programme bi dafaa nekk from 12 midday ba 7 o'clock then the upper day as well pour lu Ousseyn Dada dinañ ko start tamit from 12 midday although Ousseyn door play 12 while we have other activities like Zimba yoo xam ne dinañ ko include si biir just to keep them entertained before Ousseyn tamit di ñëw so Ousseyn dina ñëw boori 6 7 mu nekk foofu noonu ba at least 9 o'clock si la programme bi di ci
dañ def time pour mu short parce que ay xale lañ te am na yenn xale yi dañoo jógee place bu sori so dañ bëgg a mu jeex on time ñu mën a àgga seen kër bi on time
exactly affaire bi dina garaaw de
man dama feel ne daal bu xale yi moo gën a am ambiance moo gën a am ambiance man dama feel ne daal moo gën a am ambiance mbaa duma join suma xale yi ñu dem
andi leen ñëpp bu leen bàyyi kenn ñun ñoo fi nekkal xale man maa nekk anti xale so anything loo xam ne daal xale dinañ si kontaan I always want to see smile on the faces of all children so na xale ñëw ñu enjoy seen boppa def luñ bugg a def ñu fo reekaf and then talking about security wise we have enough security
waaw loolu bëggoon nañ koo laajte de security bi naka la
booy xool Q-City is one of the safest place for any other person pour dugga sa Q-City yombut benn so ñaareel apart from that we have internal securities ñoo xam ne ñu fa apart from internal securities tamit we have also the logistic team ñoo xam ne there are 7 or 8 of them ñoo xam ne ñoom seen rôle mooy pour ñu just nekk di monitor xale yi pour xool lan la gaay di def boo demee si playing ground bi da nga fa gis ñu fa station pour monitor gaay boo demee si pool bi di nga gis ñoo xam ne ñu fa station boo demee in each area of Q-City di nga fa fekk koo xam ne mu ngi monitor and then we also there comme na ko Awa waxee ñun duñoo dem tëdda fekk programme bi jeexut bañ ransale toogu ya taabul yi ba gis ne everything is clear ñëpp dem nañ seen kër ñun duñ dem so we're always available to make sure ne everybody is safe and then sound
so package bi pour adults on second day July nga ne ordinary moo nekk 500 VIP moo nekk 1000 lal moo entail si package bi what does it comes with
ok boobu noonu it's more of absolute mooy Hadify ñoom ñoo nekk di
waaw mooy
organise
second day
waaw moom mooy second day VJ bi boobu noonu 500 moo nekk ordinary bi then 1000 moo nekk the VIP the VIP package mooy if you come you'll have a place to sit and then you will be served drink waaw ay bu fekkee ne ordinary bi la you will not have a chair to sit down and then there is no drink waaye VIP dafa come with drink and then a place to sit down. Wow. So I'm 100% sure if they come, they will be entertained. Parce que xam naa ne VJ parel na leen te Hadify tamit ak teamam bi tamit they are all set leen a xaar. In as much as Hussein la moom tamit he is well prepared fu mu nekk nii mu ngi all over pour make sure ne the event is successful. ba pare nekk di ko def moom kenn he is doing it with other Gambian artists.
ok loolu lañ bëggoon a laajte because ok Hussein dañoo incorporate yeneen artist tam. Wow. So that would be very important. Julde Q City is the place to be.
I'm telling you.
At bu nekk dañ dee def lii ba pare ñoom ak Hussein every year Tobaski dañoo make sure ñu defal nit ñi dara. so affaire bu garaaw.
affaire bu garaaw sax.
bu garaaw sax bu doy waar.
waaw. you know so
ko yi xam nga lekka yi environment bi it's so nice.
ambiance bi yëpp ba pare tamit another thing loo xam ne loolu dañ koo bàyyee surprise parce que xam naa ne Ajib Bank they are trying to bring up something loo xam ne at least nañ ko defaral xale yi so we're working on that as well so hopefully Ajib Bank dina ñëw fully pour make sure ne kontaan loo nañ xale yu fa nekka waaw
war naa dellu xale
so xale yi moom nañ ñëw ñun xale yi lañ fi nekka
waaye yéen xale yi rek ngeen lifin ñun mag yi nag
mag yi da ngeen naa ñëw ànda seen xale yi it's just a family bonding boo xam ne xam nga am na ñoo xam ne
dama bëggoon ñu defar package pour mag yi
waaw especially couples ñoo xam ne waaw dañu bëgg a dem
def leen package pour mag yi ñu indi suñ doom yi ñu teg leen fële ñun tam mag yi ñu demee nii
waaw ba léegi loolu tam mun naa nekk parce que ñu ngi amee suñ sky view bi
sky
view bi mu ngi fa so leen bëggee mun ngeen naa ñëw ñu defaral leen ba mu baax ngeen dundal loof
Julde gis nga sky view bi soo si duggee doo dee xam ne fii nga nekk sax
tell us about it.
Plus loolu moo tax
affaire bu garaaw
loolu moo tax xam naa ne moom very frequently da ngeen ñu bëgg dañu gis seen plateforme bi parce que we want as much as possible pour maquette pour wan nit ñi lan la Q City
waaw xam nga the thing is nit ñi xamuñ sa lan moo nekk Q
City
Q City lu mu amee foog naa ne nit ñi luñ fa gis mooy fil bi ak playground loolu rek lañ xam waaye xamuñ lu nekk si biir
exactly so that is why dinañ nekk seen frequent guest at least every month once ñu ñëw di la naa wax comme awa nu mu ko waxee di Sky View boo ñëwee we have a Sky View restaurant boo xam ne si kaw la nekk boo fa toogee you see the beach you see all over that same area yëpp nga dee gis the place is so nice so unique boo xam ne boo fa ñëwee toog as couples.
Wow, definitely.
loolu la lañ
mën a reflect
exactly
waaw reflect
lu bëri sax
soo mun ngeen a bàyyi seen doom bi si suuf kooku noonu di fo si playground bi ngeen egg si kaw ngeen dunda ko benn boo leen paree foofu noonu tamit ngeen a dugg si cinéma bi ngeen watch a movie def so many other activities yoo xam ne
Q City daal it means that you can never be bored
you can never be bored
wow
definitely so remind ñu day bi time bi ak activity yu happen
ak contact details if anyone wants to make inquiry
mun koo prepare
ok comme nuñ ko waxee date bi it's second day Tobaski second day Tobaski mu ngi door from 12 si bëccëg bi ba 7 o'clock then si la ñoo wrap up bu xale yi then from 8 o'clock ba 4 boobu moo nekk programme yi Hadify bi mooy VJ then the third day itself boobu noonu la ñoo am suñ programme bi Q City in partnership with Hussein Dada boobu la ñoo def programme boo xam ne pour xale yi la boobu tamit mu ngi start 12 si suba ba 9 so da ngaa gis ne 12 ba 6 dinañ am yenn activities pour xale yi then from 6 ba 9 Hussein Dada mu ñëw with other Gambian artists like Miss Jobis ñoom Malls ñoom ñëppay ñëw
wow exactly
so contact details come in case am na ku nekk di lii seetaan one or two things bëgg a make inquiries more call pour laajte one or two things
okay you can always call 33 000 56 33 000 56 awa mun ngaa joxe sa number bi yow tamit
ngeen contact ñu si 36 10246
36 10246 3610246 Q City contact details in case you want to ask anything guys and services or whatever you want to ask aside from the Tobaski tamit nañ fa dem Gambian bi am fun you know it's important sometimes every month nga dem foofu noonu am sa drink alone whether with your partner nga dem relax and all it's a therapy of its own
it's very important
absolutely
apart from loolu noonu sax fu mu nekk nii yéen a ngi gis tamit suñu Makiw tent boo xam ne ñu ngi ko amee so ñu bari xamuñ ne Makiw tent bi it's open for all activities boo amee an activity boo amee wedding reception boo amee graduation yaa xam takala yaa xam sëy lu mu mun di doon daal ngénte lu mu mun di doon if you want the Makiw it's available for rent te xam nga ñaata lañ ko rente with the facilities yu mu am it's just for $100,000 only with tables and chairs loolu fan la moo am
100,000
just $100,000
Wow.
with tables and chairs ba pare we have 20 stand
with the
ACs.
deco and everything.
non nekkuñ di joxe déco bi
Okay.
waaye xam nga place bi itself boo ñëwee des sa tuugo table rek
loolu rek
lifin na boppam.
decoration
Place bi
la
rek
loolu rek
Waaw.
loolu rek in
Place
itself
bi.
it's decoration.
place bi dafa ànd ak AC foo toog yaa ngi gis AC doo tàngaay doo ñaxa
we have 20 stand
Nii lañ
ACs
gëm.
waaw
20 stand ACs yoo xam ne dafa ron ba sa programme bi jeex
waaw te dafa sedda guy
guy ni
waaw
glace
mus naa faa dem ma fay AC bi ma ne ko ne man doo ma rey
man sax
sedda waay dafa
man
sedda
sax
It's really nice.
Wow,
It's
so-
really- it's a
waaw
nice
loolu
place.
thank you very much jërë ngeen jëf waaw
Gym bi
sorry
gym
for
bi.
cutting you. Apart from Makiw tent bi ñu ngi am suñ conference hall bi
bu nekk si kaw
si kaw
waaw conference hall
waaw
bi
am
waaw
na AC am na
Activities,
everything
yeah.
mun nga faa def sa graduation wedding lu nekk
gis nga Q City dafa amee lu bëri
dafa- dafa-
ba pare
dafa
am
amee
nañ am nañ rooms we
am
have
nañ ay
rooms.
hotel rooms as well
We have rooms
Ay hotel
as
rooms.
well. If you're looking for a weekend getaway, you accept Jabar. I mean, why
Exactly.
not?
rooms yaa ngi available
Why
ngeen
not?
ñëw.
Pool bang bang. Ngeen nekk si room
te
bi.
boo amee room bi the moment you stay in our room you have free access to the pool and then the gym
Oh wow.
All that.
all that the moment yaa ngi dikka suñ room si you have access to the gym and then the pool loolu kan moo la ko defaral la
Ah, loolu kay bëri na wax dëgg.
ban stay ngay dem nga am loolu so it's only at Q City for example activities yi di ñëw nii ñëwal foofu noonu nga stay fa si ngoon sax xale yi wàcc dem si activities yi nga ñëwaat éega so xam naa yéen daal maa leen koo ñaan rek buñ paree dinañ am special talk boo xam ne at least every month da ngeen ñu may
Right.
some
Waaw,
few minutes su ñëw
waaw.
ko defee ñu toog moo
waaw gis nga suñ programme bi fii la Gambia yëpp day maquette te fii la yëpp day jare
ah jeex na
so Q City dinañ leen maquette fii ngeen a jare
jeex na
baax na kon
ko jeex na
waaw kon jërë ngeen jëf thank you very much
Thank you so much.
ladies for coming and you know we hope to join you inshallah you know second day of Tobaski
Nice.
ñu def Bemba ak third day bi ñu def Bemba Q City is the place to be mbaɗigolu Q City nin ala sonta ñin salo men kana a telebe kela place soti ñantatala minto aldindigol be bula yeta Q City katun abe diyala
Abadiyala la
Abadiyala
anda man
baake.
share fana you know $200
$200
damma
dron
rek ha keme fula damma yedung ila dindingol yedung alye pulo soto yeta fe adula dindingol ye fe ye fan soto I think akuma yata bake.
absolutely so thank you Julde
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming the Q City team
Thank you so
and
much,
we hope to
Ibrahima.
engage you more in the future.
inshallah
Yeah, so viewers, this is all we have for this morning. We'll be back here tomorrow again, inshallah, and enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye for now.